If you're still wrestling with VLOOKUP errors, waiting forever for Excel to calculate large data sets, or manually updating the same lookup formulas every month, you're not alone. Today, I'm going to show you when Excel's VLOOKUP is perfect and when it completely breaks down, and how KNIME's Joiner node can handle what Excel can't. By the end, you'll know exactly which tool to use for your specific situation. You have 500 customer orders and you need to match them with product details and sales rep information. In Excel, this means multiple VLOOKUP formulas, and as you will soon see, it takes a bit of time to apply those formulas to bring in the multiple columns into the orders sheet. And when you need to do this every week with updated data, you have to repeat this process all over again. There has to be a better way, and there is. Let's start with Excel VLOOKUP because it does have real advantages. I have three tables here: orders, product master, and sales reps. First, I'll add the product information into the orders sheet using VLOOKUP. Let me call this column product name, and I'm using VLOOKUP. Using the lookup value will be C2, which is the product code, comma. The lookup table array is going to be the product master sheet, and here we want all the way from A2 to E51, and just so that the cells don't move, and to lock the reference, I'm going to use the $sign to lock the reference on the formula, comma. Next, I need to specify the column index number that I want brought back to the order sheet. In this case, our column index number is 2 because the product name is in column 2. So I'm going to say 2, comma, and finally I want to enter the keyword false to make sure that I only get exact matches. Press enter. The product name that corresponds to prod underscore 021 shows up here in the column H. Now I can drag this formula all the way down, and the formula gets copied all the way down to all the 500 rows in the order sheet. Now if I wanted to bring in from the product master the other columns of unit price, profit margin, product category, I need to create more VLOOKUP formulas to bring them into this sheet one by one. Let's bring in some data from the sales rep sheet, which has sales rep ID, representative name, territory, and commission rate. So back to the order sheet, I'm going to bring the sales rep name from the sales reps sheet. On the order sheet in column F, we have the sales rep ID. So let's use that to VLOOKUP in the sales reps sheet. Same as before, VLOOKUP. In this case, the lookup value is F2. The table array is sales reps A2 to D21. And again, I will lock the reference using the $sign, comma. Same as last time, our return value is in the second column, column B. So I will say 2 here, followed by the keyword false to provide exact matches. And same as before, I can double click on this corner and it will copy the formula all the way down to all the 500 rows. If I wanted to bring in more information from the sales rep sheet, I would have to do multiple VLOOKUPs to bring in the other information into the orders sheet. So you see, this is where Excel gets tedious. I am copying these formulas and I am creating one formula for each column that I want to bring from the other sheets, and if next week I get an updated file with orders, I need to repeat the same formula again on the new data that I receive. Now this is just 500 rows, so the amount of time it takes to apply the formula is not that bad. But imagine if you had 50,000 rows, Excel would take a minute to apply the formula, and if I had a typo in one of the product codes, then you would actually see a NA error. For example, if I go change this from 37 to some random number. Let's say I'm going to make this 999 and press enter. You see how the product name here goes to this error and shows the hashtag NA error, which is an ugly thing to see in a report. I could wrap this error in an if error formula, but that adds more complexity. And finally, like I mentioned earlier, this is a maintenance nightmare. When my product list changes, I have to update multiple formula ranges. When I get new data next month, I'm copying and pasting these formulas again. But here's why Excel VLOOKUP actually shines. For a quick one-time analysis of under 10,000 rows, it is fast to set up. If your team only knows Excel, this works. For simple Excel matches, VLOOKUP gets the job done. Now let me show you the KNIME approach. Instead of formulas, we are building a visual workflow. This might look intimidating at first, but I'll walk you through each step. The beauty is this workflow documents exactly what we are doing, and it's completely reusable. Assuming that I have the same data, orders, product master and sales reps, in 3 separate files. These files can be CSV files, these files can be Excel files. KNIME can read a variety of file formats, similar to Excel. So the first step, which I've already completed, is I have read in the data, the orders data, the product master, and the sales reps data in 3 CSV reader nodes. Let's replicate our first VLOOKUP that we did in Excel in KNIME. This is done using the Joiner node. So I'm selecting the Joiner node. The Joiner node has 2 inputs and 3 outputs. The first input to this node will be the orders table because I'm trying to add additional columns to the orders table. My second input is going to be the product master, and the configuration is something like this. I'm joining the 2 tables on product code. So both my tables have the product code column. So I'm selecting the criteria for joining as product code. Next, I'm using the string representation to join the columns. And in the output, I want to select the matching output. I also can use the other options available to me to join the data. For now, let's just include matching because we are trying to replicate exactly what we did using VLOOKUP. In the output column section of the configuration, you'll see all the columns that exist in the orders table and all the columns that exist in the product master table. Because product code already exists in the orders table, I'm going to exclude the product code column from the joined data. Here, I can either include just the product name like we did in VLOOKUP, or at this time itself, I can include unit price, product category, and product margin also in the same operation. Finally, I'll click execute and apply, and this applies the join for all the 500 rows in one single button. So in addition to my orders table data, I now have product name, unit price, product category, and profit margin joined with the orders data table. Next, let's bring in the sales rep information. I can add another joiner node and connect the sales rep table as an input to the joiner node, and here our criteria for joining would be sales rep ID, which exists in both the tables. I'll again select the string representation and I'll leave the include and output to be just matching rows, similar to what we did in VLOOKUP. And finally, I will exclude sales rep ID from the sales reps table and include only rep name, rep territory, and commission rate. I click apply and execute, and this brings the sales rep data also into the orders table. After this point, I can either view the data using a table view node, or I can perform additional calculations as needed by using various expression nodes. Here is the final comparison. Same data, same results, but look at the difference in approach. In Excel, I have fragile formulas scattered across columns. In KNIME, I have a documented workflow that clearly shows my data processing steps. When I get next month's data, I just update the Excel files or the CSV files and click execute. No copying formulas, no breaking references. The workflow handles 500 rows or 500,000 rows with the same process. So when should you use each tool? Here is my decision framework. Use Excel VLOOKUP when you need a quick one-time analysis. Your dataset is under 50,000 rows and your entire team only knows Excel. You're doing simple, exact matches. Use KNIME Joiner when you'll repeat this analysis monthly or weekly. You're dealing with large datasets, over 50,000 rows. You need multiple lookups from different tables. Data quality and error handling matters, and you need to automate the process. And you need to document your data processing steps. This may not be a situation of choosing one tool over another. It's knowing which tool fits your specific situation. Excel for quick tactical analysis, KNIME for strategic repeatable data processing. Both have their place in modern data analysis. I put both the Excel file with the VLOOKUP solutions and the complete KNIME workflow in the description below. Download them, try them with your own data, and see which approach works better for your situation. If you want to master more Excel to KNIME transformations like this, there are helpful resources that show you exactly when and how to make these transitions. Click the link in the description to get access. And if this helped you see data analysis differently, hit subscribe. I am creating more videos comparing traditional Excel approaches with modern data tools. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.